this isn't that like crazy. Women in the 60s and 50s, you'd have the little compact mirror, your little puffer, and you would go to the restroom to freshen up. This is like a really cool thing that I think millennial women have had beaten out of us. I think we have had the concept of touch-ups and freshening up beaten out of us by the idealization of the low-maintenance girlfriend. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and I run the blog called Mrs. Midwest. Today we are doing one of my favorite topics. We are returning to the topic of beauty, and this is not a philosophical conversation. It's not really commentary. It's just some practical tips and tricks that I have learned along the way on my beauty journey. And specifically, we're going to be talking about beauty mistakes that you might be making that may be holding you back from your ultimate glow up, that might just be causing you not to show up as gorgeous as you could be. That this is not a conversation on the morality or immorality of beauty. I don't think you're a bad person or it's wrong to participate in makeup and beauty or not to participate in makeup and beauty. As you can see, your girl loves a full glam, but that does not mean I believe everybody needs to wear full glam. It's just something I've always been interested in. I've said before, but I had a subscription to 17 magazine when I was like 11, like 12, 13. I've always been interested in hair and makeup and Barbies and like looking as glam and gorgeous as I possibly can. One of my most popular videos here on YouTube is actually my glow up. And I would even say since motherhood, since that last video, I've had another glow up. You know, I'm 30 now. I've grown a lot and I'm excited to share with you guys some of the things I've learned along the way. And again, this video is not from a perspective of I'm better than you guys and this is what you should or should not be doing. No, this video is actually from a perspective of I've made so many beauty mistakes and I've learned a lot throughout my years, and I want to share the knowledge with you guys. Of course, too, some of these mistakes might not be mistakes for you. You know, if you have a different hair type or skin type or lifestyle or body shape than me, maybe some of this stuff won't apply. So please keep all those things in mind. This is not that serious to me. I don't take it that seriously. To me, it's just for fun. It's to build confidence. It's to help bless you guys with the things I've learned. So, all that being said, let's dive in. We're gonna start with hair. You guys know hair is a huge thing that I have grown. I went from not being able to really grow my hair from here to now it's out of frame. It's like to the bottom of my tailbone. In full transparency, I'm a short torso girly, so it's not like my hair is like that long, but I have worked really hard to grow it long. So, beauty mistakes with hair. The first thing would be too much dry shampoo or too much grease, i.e. not washing hair enough. Now, as you can see, my hair is baby soft and fine, so it gets greasy kind of easily. So I actually have to wash it like around every 36 hours or every other day. And that has helped me maintain a lot healthier of hair, but I've also just noticed it makes my hair look shinier and better, and it has amplified, in my opinion, like my overall look. I think I look more polished than I used to because I wash my hair more frequently. Now, curly girls, you're probably like one wash a week. Some people even do one wash every other week. So this is going to be very dependent on your hair type, but make sure you are washing your hair, like not overwashing it, but really not underwashing it. And I kind of think nowadays, if people with my hair type get so confused by the messaging that you need to train your hair and that the oil will stop coming if you just get your hair used to absorbing it. Sure, that will maybe work for like curly girls or people with really dry hair. But if your scalp gets oily, wash it. It helps clear up those pores. You can take care of the grease and sebum and things that cause hair breakage and bad scalp health. A huge beauty mistake is also the dry shampoo. Dry shampoo, in my opinion, should be a last minute kind of last ditch. You are headed out the door to church and you notice oh, I probably should have washed my bangs today. You add a bit of dry shampoo and you be on your way, because too much dry shampoo buildup can like be really rough on your hair and cause some breakage. Not to mention, dry shampoo in its nature kills the oil in your hair, and it kind of kills that shiny, healthy look. If you have time, it is better to wash your hair than to just pack on dry shampoo every day. I feel like dry shampoo was a big trend since like 2012 to like 2022, and I hope we can all kind of move on from dry shampoo and wash our hair more regularly. You might be shocked at how healthy your hair becomes. Now, it's not just shampoo and conditioner. I used to do that. One of my beauty mistakes was just shampoo, conditioner, be on my way, blast it with a hair dryer or air dry my hair, and then wonder why it's breaking off. A lot of us, most of us, need aftercare products after the shower. So this would be another beauty mistake. Skipping out on the leave-in conditioner, skipping out on the heat protectant, skipping out on oil treatments, skipping out on smoothing out those ends. A common question I've seen online in beauty like forums and stuff is people asking like, how do some girls like look like their hair is so shiny and they look so put together and the ends are just like, you know, soft or whatever? And a lot of that comes down to the after shower hair care. And so we're not just shampooing and conditioning. We're not just shampooing and conditioning. We are also applying leave-in conditioner sprays from about here down. We are doing oil on the ends before bed. We are doing pre-shower hair care. I have an entire hair video that goes into detail on this, but if you are neglecting especially the shafts and ends of your hair and then wondering why it's not that glowy, sweet, soft, swishy kind of hair it could be, look at that. It might be because you need a leave-in conditioner. You can buy off-brand stuff. You can buy on-brand stuff, high-end, low-end. The beautiful thing about nowadays is drugstore hair care, drugstore makeup is honestly pretty amazing. And especially the L'Oreal line, I've been using it since February. There's a lot of options that are affordable. So skipping out on those extra steps was a beauty mistake for me because it prevented my hair, first of all, from growing long, but then also from looking healthy at the ends. I would just have like kind of spiky, frizzy hair. Also over bleaching hair. If you guys have watched my video, you know I used to like bleach my hair, which I can't even get into it. There was no reason. Look how light my hair is. This is natural. It grows from my head. It comes in like a little ashy, and then the sun lightens it, and boom, blonde hair. There was no need for me to be going like 2 notches brighter, but whatever, I did it. It broke off my hair. A lot of people have that experience with dyeing and coloring. I don't think dyeing your hair is wrong. I think in the beginning of my channel, I was a little more militant, like don't dye your hair, it'll break it off, because that was my experience. But as you guys know, as with a lot of things, I'm a lot more open-minded now that I'm older, and I do think like the right hair color can make a huge impact, but we need to be paying attention to the health of our hair. So I'm actually like neutral on hair dye. I am against, however, poor dye jobs. I am against colors that wash you out or break your hair. The hair color job shouldn't just be like a rigid habit that you have. Like, I was a blonde as a child, so I need to keep it up my entire life, without kind of exploring your other options. Like, if you look good blonde and your hair is healthy, go for it. But it could be a beauty mistake if it's washing you out, if your hair is breaking off, if it just like the root situation is looking crazy all the time. Sometimes embracing your natural color for a little bit can be like a good option if you are kind of wondering how to increase the health of your hair. And I would say, as with most things with beauty, the healthier you can appear, the more adjacent to beauty that will be. Now there's like different types of beauty. There's like natural beauty, fairy-like whimsical beauty, innocent childlike beauty. There's glam beauty, classic beauty. There's a lot of ways to express yourself with beauty, but there's certain things all those types of beauty will have in common. So right now I'm presenting as like glam beauty. But my hair, I'm trying to make sure it's shiny and healthy, right? Natural beauty girl over here will also prioritize shiny, healthy hair, right? So the health of how you look is going to be the #1 priority. And I think that's another beauty mistake people make. They confuse like beauty with like hair and makeup and putting on a mask or putting on products or putting on a certain outfit, without realizing that beauty starts at the base of like, what are we looking at? Do you look healthy? And then once you look healthy, we're gonna add on these extras, like the right hair color or the right products or the right outfit, and that will amplify the health from within. But the health is where you want to start. Again, I think a really good example of dry, broken ends and a bad dye job from a rich person who could achieve better hair would be Gwyneth Paltrow. She has disgusting ends. Sorry, that was kind of mean, but it's true. They're scraggly, and it's like, oh, girlfriend, like, moisturize. Just because you want to be blonde well into your 60s, that's fine. Just like make sure the bottoms are like healthy. It's better to have shorter hair too that's healthy than just like scraggly long hair, okay? Hair. Dry shampoo, also like greasy roots all the time. I've seen some creators on Instagram, they're like so on fleek with like, have you guys heard that term in a long time? On fleek? I don't think I've ever used that in my life, but it kind of describes it. Like they're on fleek with their outfit, but then their hair is like greasy and it's like split at the back. And it's like, ooh, what are we doing here? I have a cowlick that kind of runs to the back of my scalp. And like, if you wanted to part my hair in the back, it would be really easy to do that because like my hair naturally like parts in the back, right? So I have to be extra careful of how the grease affects the back of my head. And I'm extra cognizant of the back of my head. And so I would encourage you guys, take a peek at the back of your head, see what's going on over there. Like, is it extra greasy? Like, what does it look like? You know, you could see a beautiful woman, but if you turn around and it's like, her hair's like split, you guys know what I'm talking about, split with grease. That kind of takes away from the overall polished-ishness of the look. Okay, so pay attention to the back of your head. Focus on that. Quickly, I want to talk about hair volume. Now, I'm kind of not like one to be talking about this like right now. I just washed my hair. My hair is fine, so it's like laying kind of flat to my head. But sometimes I think hair volume can be a modern issue. I don't think people sometimes think about the shape of their head too much. Like their hair might just be kind of like stringy and falling down. Never underestimate what some mousse on the roots and some heat, like what that can do for making your hair look really full. It can be a huge improvement. Understand that bad hair can ruin an outfit. Like, again, the hair, the face, the skin, the posture, that's like the core of the beauty. Like that's the Barbie doll, right? And if the Barbie doll's looking a mess, it doesn't matter what outfit you put on that Barbie doll, like she's still looking kind of trashed, right? So if we're focused on hair health, if we're focused on glowing from within, on amplifying our health, amplifying our natural beauty, then when we put on a killer outfit, it's gonna like amplify and look amazing versus kind of just be like a bandage, right? So that's why with beauty stuff, I think I said this in my April video too, we always want to start with the foundational elements of hair, face, skin, body before we get to clothes. I'll be diving into that in this video. So speaking of the body, let's just cover bad posture. This is again a beauty mistake I have made and still constantly make. And I know because I film myself for vlogs and I see myself hunched unloading the dishwasher and I'm like, ugh, like I need to work on my posture. And so a huge reason I lift weights is to strengthen my back, my posture. Your girl's a scoliosis girl, so I'm fighting a little bit of an uphill battle here with my posture. But if anything, it has just reminded me how important it is to have good posture. Hunching over, drooping shoulders, kind of stomping around life, even heavy steps. Have you ever met like a clodhopper person and it's like you're a gorgeous girl, but like why are you stomping around? Like heavy footedness, like just that presence of like, you guys know, it's like it's that heavy, it's that presenting yourself kind of like hunched over. And the problem with that is it kind of like kills your presence, right? And so part of beauty is presence. It's not just like, do you have Instagram model face or do you not? It's the whole sum of your features. It's your presence, it's your smell, it's like all the five senses. And posture conveys so much more than just, now my bra and clothes sit better because I'm sitting back. It also conveys, obviously, confidence, elegance, gracefulness, patience even. Like I'm sitting back, you know, I'm ready. I'm here, I'm present, I'm listening, I'm looking at you and nodding. You know, the posture is the presence. And a beauty mistake I have made, especially after pregnancy for a while, because you know, you're pregnant, you're heavy, you're like leaning forward, your pelvic floor gets messed up, your back hurts. I had to rework my posture and learn how to stand again, like pelvic up, pelvis tilted up, spine, shoulder blades together, shoulders back, you know. And a lot of us will struggle with the iPhone situation, forward head posture, working on a computer all day, forward head posture. You don't want to hump on the back of your neck, so keeping your head, like as they say in dance, this part of your head right here, imagine there's a string, pull it up. And I will say this in every beauty video till the end of time, because it probably makes the biggest impact. Like if you look trashed, greasy hair, acne, bad outfit, but if you had excellent posture and you're just walking your way through life like Audrey Hepburn dancer style, you look a little beautiful. Like it's an element of beauty, and if bad posture can take away from that. Okay, so think about it. Just think about it more. Maybe like every time you look down at your wedding ring, you can think, oh, sit up straight. Like just have like a little habit in yourself. And again, this is better for your body. Like when we're old people, if we have our muscles trained for better posture, it's going to lead to a better outcome health-wise. Remember posture starts in the core. So if you have a weak core, it'll be hard to like have that opened up strong kind of posture. So weightlifting, Pilates, like working on your abs, yoga, all that kind of stuff to strengthen the core. And then from there, we have good posture. Even throughout this video, watch me do this beauty mistake, because I'm sure by the end I'm gonna be like this over this microphone, and you just know a side angle of that curved. But it's okay. Like again, this video is not that serious. It's not saying never make beauty mistakes. It's just like drawing awareness to like what you maybe can upgrade to look better. And that's an obvious one. Okay. I think another beauty mistake people can make in the area of working out would be to get a little too focused on one type of workout. I think I think something that is important to remember too with working out is like being more holistic about it. So working on cardio while also lifting weights, just making sure your bases are kind of covered, because the muscle is important as you age. It can protect bone density. And then cardio is great for even just blood circulation, blood flow, getting your heart going, kind of work with all of that. And then even like Pilates and core work for posture and internal core strength. Quickly, I want to cover clothes as well. Beauty mistakes with clothes. The number one thing I think I've made a mistake is the wrong undergarments. And so as you're thinking about your undergarments, make sure you are wearing a bra that fits. Make sure that you are wearing the correct bra for the right outfit. I think sometimes people just slap on a bra, I used to do this, and wear it with every single kind of outfit, not realizing that some outfits might require a minimizer bra, whereas other ones might require like a balconette bra, or a bra that straps that go a different way, you know, a thin bra, thicker bra. I like to wear a stretchy bra on top of a bra if I'm wearing a t-shirt, just to kind of minimize things. There's different things you can do with your structural undergarments, and also don't just assume that shapewear is like prissy or high maintenance. You might be surprised at how much a shapewear can transform a look just by smoothing out wrinkles or bumps or whatever underneath a dress. It can be a huge like improvement. People and women have worn shapewear for like almost 1,000 years. Pantyhose, corsets, all that kind of stuff. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with so many undergarments nowadays, but don't underestimate the value of a shapewear, just a simple one. I'll link the ones I wear for special occasions, but I find like, especially if you're wearing a fitted dress, just some nice shapewear to smooth everything out can be just like that little bit of thing that makes you look a little bit more polished. Thinking of clothing too, outside of the undergarments, think about your color season. I really covered this in detail in my beauty checklist video in April. The wrong colors can take away from your beauty. I have had to learn this the hard way. I used to wear bright red a lot, or like really, really bright coral, or I guess that wasn't that bad of a color, but all that to say, I'm a light spring. So I need more desaturated colors in more of like that pastel, lighter tones, and my skin tone is more neutral, so I'm not really warm toned or cool toned, so I kind of just go for like things that aren't extremely warm or extremely cool, kind of like neutral tones as well. Not to say I can't wear color, I just don't go really, really ice cold or really, really warm toned colors, more neutral. And And that's made a huge impact because it's very flattering to my skin, hair, and eye color when I live within my color season. So find your color season. I even did this for my husband. I went crazy buying him a bunch of tops, and I figured out he was a clear winter before, because when he had hair, he had like really, really dark hair, and he has ice blue eyes, and he has like this warm tan skin. And so it's almost like light olive even sometimes. So I was like, ooh, clear winter. And I went online and I bought him like bright blue, bright pink, like dark burgundy. And he looks so good in these clothes I bought. But his color season, I could never wear. It's not flattering on me. So I stick to my color season. If I were to turn this camera and show you my closet, it's all light yellows, light pinks, light pastels. I wear bright white. Bright white actually isn't in my color season. So this isn't to say I never, you guys know I wear black. Like, I wear outside my color season, but if I'm going for a big impact look, I look at my color season colors and I choose clothes based on that. Especially when I'm online shopping, I tend to not buy anything that's not in my color season. So just kind of like think of that, you know, if you have an all black wardrobe and it's like bringing you down, or maybe, I know some girlies love to dress in the autumn palette, but you are not in autumn season. Cool tones and silvers and things like that have really fallen out of fashion, especially for millennials, but you might be cool toned and those golds might not be working for you. And I know that can be devastating, but color season impacts everything. It impacts like what color you should dye your hair, what clothes you should wear, what makeup you wear. So finding that can kind of unlock this extra level of beauty that I really encourage you to not miss out on. Okay, now we're gonna move to some of the things with the face. Now, the first one is going to be any type of blindness. And again, I am an example of this because I frequently struggle with brow blindness. As I said, this is my natural hair color. My eyebrows are naturally light blonde. So I get the wonderful job of dyeing them in a shape. So when I apply the dye, I have to choose the shape. And then when I fill them in with a brow pencil, I have to choose the shape. And the problem with always having to choose the shape is it's not my natural shape. So sometimes I struggle with like too thick of brows, or too far apart, or too close together, too spiky, too straight. It's a struggle. I do rely on feedback from the audience. You guys will tell me sometimes when you like my brows, and then I try to recreate that. This is where we're at right now. Thinner, I don't know. I like the dark. I think I'm gonna stay dark. Quick note from the editor's chair. I saw in my recent vlog some recommendations on my brow blindness, and I wanted to show you that I took your advice. Some of you guys said to go back to the original brows, so here we are, a little more fluffed up, a little thicker. So all that to say, even the brows in the beauty mistake video aren't the same anymore. That's how ever-changing it is. And it's also just a quick note that I can go on YouTube and make a video about beauty mistakes and still be making beauty mistakes. No one's perfect. And if you ever feel overwhelmed about beauty mistakes and things like that, just know it's like, it's not that serious. Like, it's not the end of the world. And also based on trends, sometimes things are a mistake now and it won't be in 10 years, or it wasn't 100 years ago. You know, it's all subjective. It's all like trends and like what we find beautiful in the moment, or what's flattering from person to person. So anyways, these are the current brows. We'll see if I keep changing them. All that to say is, blindness is anything that you are just repetitively doing it with a rigidity, like you're not even thinking about it, but it might not look good on your face. Blush blindness is a good example for the Gen Z TikTok girls who are smothering blush like all across their nose and cheeks and forehead and chin, and it's like, whoa, you look a bit red. Blush blindness. I think I might have a bit of lip liner blindness because I go a little crazy with the lip liner, right? So this is just stuff that maybe we're doing with our makeup or our eyebrows that we're not realizing is like a bad look. So a way to kind of approach this is to find a safe person who also likes, don't go to somebody who like hates hair and makeup and ask them like, what do you think of my makeup? They might say, you don't ever need makeup. You know, go to someone who like has a look that you like, that you trust, and say, hey, like, do you think I have any blindnesses? Like, do I wear too clumpy? Do I wear too much mascara? Or do I like put too much bronzer on? Like, any tips? You know, if you have a friend like that, ask. You never know. But also another way to figure this out is to take a bunch of selfies of yourself and just kind of look, and you might see the blindness. The way I've figured out my blindnesses is by editing videos for YouTube, and I have to stare at my face for like the hour and a half of like talking, and I'm like, wow, that does not look right, and then I change it, okay? So all that to say, it's not that big of a deal to have a blindness with something on your face, but the way you can identify it is by, first of all, asking somebody, looking at yourself, and then third of all, learning. So learn from the greats, learn from makeup artists. I love following makeup artists online because I can see how they do their makeup, and I can kind of see, oh, I don't do that, or I do too much of that, and it kind of teaches me what to alter to get a more like enhanced look versus like taking away from my features, right? So that being said, a common blindness a lot of people have with the, I know I'm not really one to talk about brows, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. A common brow issue I see with a lot of people is the brows being too far apart. Now, this part of your brow might grow in more sparse. I always have to kind of fill this in, but that ends up, a lot of people, their brows will start from here and go over. And that can be a problem because it can kind of like be unflattering to the eye. And a simple trick you guys can do today is make sure that your eyebrow is at least starting at the line of where your tear duct begins. So my brow should not be shorter than where this tear duct begins, because oh my goodness, can you imagine? That would be way too far away. And this is whether or not your eyes are closely spaced or far spaced. Your brow needs to at least start where your tear duct is, because the brow should at least be the length of the eye. Another issue people do is their brows can be too downturned at the end. So this isn't to say everyone needs to like shave off the end of their brow and go up, but sometimes if you're wondering like, why does my face feel like it's dragging down? Simply removing the tail and drawing it up higher, or say your brow goes really far over, just removing that section with like a single blade razor can make a big difference. I actually think brows over everything else can make the biggest difference on your face, because they like really can complement or take away from your look. You know, even just a simple like cleaning up your brow. I'm a huge fan of big brows. You guys know that. I like a big dark brow. But sometimes you can have like a lot of stray hairs underneath or above, or like spiking out in weird spots, and just like simply grooming it or threading it can make a huge difference. A way to get a good brow is to go to like a brow specialist, a threader, and make sure you go like, you know, if you're Persian, you might want to seek out like someone who does Persian brows, right? If you're like a white girl with sparse brows, seek out someone who can help you with that. Some of my favorite like videos to watch online are like brow transformations of people who basically have no brow, and then they get it like fixed, and it just totally makes their face look more youthful. A darker, thicker brow is a sign of youth, because as we age, if you look at any elderly person, I used to do my grandmother's makeup. She had like no brows. She had like 3 hairs, and it wasn't a plucking issue. It was because she had aged, and that hair thins out, just like your lashes will thin out. Your actual hair will thin out as you age. So if your brows are like pretty sparse, and it's not like an intentional thing, like I know some girls like to bleach their brows or whatever, but if your brows are just kind of sparse, filling it in at least with a pencil, and making it a bit darker, making the hair fill in, can be huge. I will say it is a huge leap though. If you're like me and have blonde brows, I used to just rock my blonde brows, right? And then I would get them dyed, and it would feel like I had these like Groucho Marx caterpillars like crawling off my face, and I felt so insecure, but it didn't look bad. It was just shocking to see my face look different. Like, I don't know, like if you got a nose job or something, like it's shocking sometimes to go from like what you're used to. So it's not necessarily that your face looks better or worse, it's that it's what you're used to. So remember that too, when you're trying something different with your makeup or your hair. I even have this with moving furniture. Sometimes my husband, we will like rearrange a room and I'm like, I don't like it. But it's not because it looks bad. It's because it's change and it's different and it's not what my brain is used to seeing. So my trick is to give things like a week. And then I'm like, wow, I love how this room is set up. Do that with your face and hair. So maybe try something new and see like for a week, and you might get used to it, okay? And it might actually be like a huge improvement. So that's brows. Something else I want to talk about is lip color. Oh my goodness, I think lip color is totally underrated, and I think there are so many lip products nowadays, and people really underestimate how much having a lip color on can make your face like look balanced. It can make you like, you know, you guys always ask, how do I look more feminine? A lip color. Now, you don't need a red lipstick. You don't need a berry stain. You don't need hot pink. This color, something kind of neutrally, a little gloss, boom, like we have a lip situation going on. Right? Lip color. Now, this is a very subtle color, but I have a lip color on, and it kind of like finishes the look. Ever since I did my original glow up, I used to just rock dark eyeliner, no lip color constantly, nothing on my lips, barely even a chapstick. But when I made the biggest difference in my glow up is when I started doing my lips. Now you guys know I go kind of crazy. I don't have lip filler, but I like recreating it with like a thick lip liner. I do a lip stain, I do the gloss. I'm a big lip person, right? However, you don't have to do all that. You can just do a lipstick or a lip stain or something, and don't just like try one product and be like, see, this is why I don't like lip products. I don't like half the lip products like out there either. Like, you have to find the right ones. I will leave some links for the ones that I like. If you like a gloss, this is an amazing gloss. There's some other options. There's plumping lip glosses. There's like just chapsticks. There's organic lip products if you don't want to like have something like like a chemical that's super ingestible by your mouth. There's so many options, but the lips just being like blending into your face, that takes away, in my opinion, I think that's a beauty mistake. Like, if you're looking to do your makeup, I'm not saying just for people running around barefaced. I'm not saying everyone needs a lip color, but I'm saying if you're going to do like your mascara, do not skip your lips. And furthermore, a mistake I see people make is they don't correct the complexion around their lips. I used to do this too. Again, this is not like I'm better than you. This is, I did this stuff. This is why I know about this. I run a little bit red. So, like you can see, I run a little bit red. So what would happen is I would have like a reddish complexion. I would put on a peach or pink lip gloss, and then this whole section of my face is like kind of pink. So something you want to do if you're going to do a lip color is to even out your complexion around your mouth so that the lines of your lips are more clear. And this brings us to the concept of contrast, which the eyebrows also go into the category of contrast. Adding and taking away contrast is a way to make your features more or less striking. And really, the idea of makeup is to make your features stand out. Especially if you're like me, like a blonde, I add the brows, I add the mascara, I add the lip color, and now suddenly you can see each one of my individual features versus it all blending together. Adding contrast is what we're doing. It's not about, like, that's really what makeup is. It's about adding the contrast so you can see the features. And so what I'm trying to say is, if this skin around here is pink and you add a pink color, it's not adding contrast, it's just all a blob of pink now. So what we need to do is make this a different color than your lips, add the lip color, and now we have contrast. That's something I've seen a lot too. I think mascara has gotten less popular since COVID. But people will be like, how do I look more striking? And they're not wearing mascara. And it's like, well, that is like the easiest thing you can do to look more striking, in my opinion, is find a good mascara, curl those lashes, super, super dark on top. That's all you need. You don't even need to do your under eyelashes. A beauty mistake I used to make, which I don't know if it's so much of a mistake or as much of a past trend, but that is the dark eyeliner on the bottom. The problem with that is it really like weighs down your eye, and it kind of just makes everything like look a little bit more droopy. So I've changed it to just doing a light coat of mascara over here, and then kind of focus more on the top lashes to like pull the face up. And again, you don't have to do this. I'm sure this trend will change in the next couple of years, but I do think that under the eye eyeliner I used to do did kind of like make my eyes look smaller in a way, which is kind of crazy. So making sure your eyeliner isn't dragging down your eyes is a good idea. I have seen too, I think this is a beauty mistake. The eyeliner that goes from the tear duct to the outer corner and then all the way down the bottom to the, like, that tight lining for everyday, like, wear, I think that can sometimes, like, like, be a little much. And so I would just say, like, reevaluate if your eyeliner is working for you or not. I've gone through many phases with eyeliner. Another beauty mistake I'm going to show you guys right now. I have a transparent powder. Your girl's shiny because I'm a bit sweaty. Okay, see that? I'm gonna add a little bit here. The girlies who did makeup back in 2016 will remember that we really liked a matte look for a while. Like, see how that just like mattified a little bit? And nowadays it's all about the glow. And I do think glow is good with makeup, but sometimes if we're like a little bit too shiny, forehead, chin, nose, everything, it's like it goes from your skin looking super healthy to you just look kind of greasy. And so try to keep the shine more to your cheeks and just like the tip of your nose, maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. But like if you want to mattify, a transparent or it's called a translucent powder is great because it matches the color of whatever bronzer foundation you have on. It's like basically invisible, but it mattifies that shine. So you can see now, instead of looking at my shiny forehead, you guys are probably looking more at my eyes or my smile or whatever. So just keeping things, I would say too, on hand. So don't just do your makeup. A beauty mistake I used to do is like, I would do my makeup at like 7 in the morning and just rock it till like 10 p.m. No touch-ups. Something I do nowadays, like people will ask me like, how do you look so put together? It's because I touch up my makeup throughout the day. So I take like my lip products, or I have a second set of lip products. I take a powder and a mascara with me, and I will like do a touch up after like maybe 6 hours, you know, you kind of need. I'm getting into setting spray. That's maybe a beauty mistake I used to do. I used to never use a setting spray, but nowadays I do. And a setting spray makes a huge difference because it just keeps your makeup from sliding around, like, because what happens is you'll put your makeup on top, the oil will come out from the bottom, and it'll cause like the creams and the powders and the mascara to just kind of like wash away. So a setting spray on top packs that on and it keeps it from moving. And I've noticed since using setting spray, my makeup is lasting a lot longer, like maybe 4 or 5 hours longer. But I do touch-ups throughout the day. I've noticed it's crazy. Mascara will start to dissolve like off your face. So I will touch up my mascara, just refresh, and touch up my lips, especially after I eat. And that's pretty much it. Like, just touch-ups throughout the day help you look more polished. And again, this isn't that like crazy. Women in the 60s and 50s, you'd have the little compact mirror, your little puffer, and you would go to the restroom to freshen up. This is like a really cool thing that I think millennial women have had beaten out of us. I think we have had the concept of touch-ups and freshening up beaten out of us by the idealization of the low maintenance girlfriend. I just feel like when we were coming up in our 20s, you had to be as low maintenance, cool girl, like Coachella, chill, hippie, or even like, I love beer with the boys. Like that was like the ideal. And I think nowadays, Gen Z especially, like we're moving away from the idea that we all have to be so cool and chill. And hyper femininity and like makeup and glam is being celebrated again. I feel like around the Barbie movie was when that kind of changed. And I love that as a hyper glam girly. And I don't think it's wrong to be one of the boys or like not want to do glam or makeup or whatever. But I don't think we need to be embarrassed for running off to the bathroom and touching up our makeup. I just think like policing other people's movements around their appearances is wrong. And if you want to engage with more makeup or more beauty things, it doesn't make you vain. It doesn't make you a bad person. You're only a bad person for that stuff when you're prioritizing it over like the important things in life. I would argue too that if you're policing other people's movements around beauty and makeup and stuff, that's more of a heart issue for you than it is for the person who loves touching up her lip gloss. Also, a beauty mistake you can make is like, because you don't feel comfortable learning about something, you never learn. And I went from, not knowing anything about hair and makeup and all of that to like throughout my life educating myself. I was not born with the skills of how to properly take care of my hair or how to properly See, my hair's getting flat. Ugh. I was not born with the skills of how to like do a full face of makeup. Like this is just stuff I've learned, and I've learned from other women. I've learned from YouTube and Instagram Reels and all that kind of stuff. And I've applied that stuff to myself, and it's like greatly blessed my own beauty routine. So I think too, a beauty mistake that can happen is just you feel super overwhelmed, so you don't try to learn at all, but you secretly want to know how to do it better. I would say what you can do for that is just start. Just dive in with beauty. You don't have to learn like every single thing about hair and makeup in one day or even a single year. You can kind of just start small and go from there. Like learn how to do your mascara really well. And then from there, start learning about concealer, start learning about when to apply mousse, like all of that. You know, it is overwhelming when you first start. And I think that's why, I think I've said this before, people think beauty routines are so hardcore. Like she wakes up 2 hours ahead of time. And it's like, no, I don't wake up that early to do this because it's like a second, like it's like breathing. Doing my makeup takes me 15 minutes because I can do it quickly because I've spent the time learning how to do this and practicing. So again, just because you get involved in hair and makeup and beauty doesn't mean it's going to consume your life. It might for a little when you're first learning how to do things, but as you get more skilled, it'll go quicker and quicker. Let's switch gears here. Let's talk about sun damage. This is a beauty mistake I made. I think some people don't even realize this. I have freckles. In my early 20s, they were a lot darker. And it's not because I slather my face in foundation. It's because freckles naturally lighten as women age. But also, I use sunscreen now every single day. And I think a lot of us do know about sunscreen nowadays. I think especially Gen Z has been super educated in skincare. But I know a lot of people still neglect it. And you can get non-chemical sunscreens, like you can get mineral sunscreens. And if you're not comfortable with sunscreens, I know some people like think that they're poisonous, wearing a hat, staying in the shade. I've seen arguments before that it's like, well, for thousands of years, we didn't like sit in the sun. We would sit in the sun and not get burned. Like, why do people get burned nowadays? And it's like, well, hats were really in fashion for a long time. Parasols, umbrellas, sitting in the shade. Also, a lot of people with light skin lived in the north where it was overcast and we weren't in the sun all the time. Like if you live in Florida now and you're a white girl, wear your sunscreen, wear your hat, stay in the shade. You're not indigenous to Florida. Like your skin's not prepared. I think it's like important to get your vitamin D from the sun, but to also mitigate sunspots, skin damage. It can exacerbate wrinkles and skin dryness as well. I'm 30. My skin looks better than it did at 20 because I take care of my skin with my skincare routine. I am thinking of filming just like a video dedicated to my skincare routine. Let me know if you're interested in that, but it's basically follows the 8-step Korean skincare routine, just including different serums, toners, cleansers, exfoliation, and night cream, day cream, sunscreen. I know that sounds like a lot, but again, once you're involved with this stuff, it's like, it's so easy. It's not even a big deal. It's just like what you do. It's just a habit. So skincare. Skincare was a big beauty mistake I made for a long time. Like neglecting my skin, not exfoliating enough, so it did look more dry and dull. And also neglecting to take off my makeup at night. Obviously, we need to be doing that, people. Take off your makeup at night. Even if it doesn't cause you to break out, you're smushing all that makeup on your pillowcase, and then your pillowcase is dirty, and then that gets on your hair and your face, and like, ugh. Take your makeup off. Preserve your skin. Preserve, like you won't be youthful forever. I don't imagine I will be youthful forever. I don't believe or think I will be youthful forever. But I do believe in taking care of the skin I was given. And I get acne, I get pimples. I concealed like 1 or 2 here. If you guys watch my Hawaii vlog, I had a ginormo patch of pimples here for like most of the trip. I just spot treat that stuff. This is going to bring me to my next beauty mistake. But sometimes I think people overestimate how much internal health can impact external beauty. So do I think important, like staying hydrated and the right diet and sleep can make you look fresh and beautiful? Yes. But I also believe in external things like the skincare on top, or spot treating acne, or putting gloss on the end of your hair. You know, beauty from within is very important, but I actually think it's a mistake to believe that that's the end all be all. I've seen a lot of people frustrated online, like, why is my hair not growing? Why is my skin not getting better? I'm eating perfectly. I'm like sleeping. I am doing all the things. And it's like, but they're not putting any oil on the ends of their hair and their hair is breaking off. You know, that's an external issue. They have reoccurring acne in certain areas, but they won't put a benzoyl peroxide on it. Sometimes like those external medications or those external little tools can make a huge difference. And I think sometimes people have this overly romanticized version of people in the past. Like, well, they didn't need benzoyl peroxide in the 1600s, blah, 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 because they had better food back then. And it's like, maybe, but we also don't know, like, if someone had a pimple or not. We don't know. Who's going to put in a painting a pimple? I do believe nowadays, like, our food system and water and everything is like way more toxic, but I think sometimes completely relying on just eating perfectly, sleeping perfectly, and drinking a lot of water to make your skin fresh or your hair grow can be a mistake, because you're missing those extra things that will make a huge difference, like a leave-in conditioner, for example, or like me, I do slugging for my face. So I put a layer of Aquaphor over my skin before I go to sleep over my skincare, and my skin has never been more hydrated. That's not drinking more water. I don't think I could drink enough water in the world for my dry skin to like be fully hydrated all the time. I drink a lot of water, but then I also take some external steps, and that has amplified my beauty to the next level. It's also taken a lot of pressure off myself. I think sometimes people put way too much pressure on themselves of like, a pimple appeared, but I'm doing everything right. I'm eating all the right stuff. I haven't had sugar and all this stuff. And it's like a panic. And it's like, well, sometimes pimples just happen, girlfriend. Like, take the pressure off yourself. Put a little Zap It. That's my brand. I really like a Zap It pimple cream on that and be on your way. Sometimes pimples are just hormonal. Sometimes your hair's falling out because you had a baby, and you can be eating all the right things in the world and it's still gonna fall out. Or breaking off because you had stress, or maybe it's breaking off because you dieted too much. Not everything is internal. But that brings me to my next point, which is take care of your internal health. Complete opposite point of last, but I think these things go hand in hand and you need a little bit of everything. You guys always know I'm about balance. So neglecting internal health is a beauty mistake, because again, if you're putting mascara on, concealer, all this stuff, but you are underslept and under-rested, you're not gonna look as fresh. That's just the reality of things. Like sleep, water, good diet, those are the three components. No, also stress. So 4, sleep, good diet, a lot of water, and low stress, and also working out. So 5 things. Those things are so important. Like your health matters. Oh my goodness. Health matters so much. And I really do think we live in a fast-paced world. It's not always possible to be restful, but I can tell you in the most stressful seasons of my life, that is when my beauty has suffered the most. And no, I couldn't do anything about it at the time. I had to trudge through that season, but you best believe once I got out of those stressful seasons, I prioritized my rest, I prioritized my beauty routines, and I felt better about myself, and I just felt better in general, internally, mentally, spiritually, all of that. So that's not to say it's in your control in order to reduce stress. I really don't think it is. I think a lot of us are just in stressful seasons and there's nothing you can do about it. But remember that stress does highly impact your beauty. It can even impact like the light in your eyes, or it can affect like how well your blood flow is working, if you have headaches or not, if you're sleeping well at night. Like huge, that of course causes obvious things like huge eye bags, but even just having like not as great blood flow because you're not working out can impact like how fresh your skin looks or how bloated you are. So incorporating working out, incorporating an earlier bedtime, incorporating less stress in ways you can control by maybe not reading the news as much, not getting involved in like a ton of friends or family drama, not dating people who are toxic, not talking to yourself in a cruel way. Maybe amp up your faith, pray, spend time in nature, pet a dog. You guys know I have a lot of content about stress and like the things we can do that are in our control to mitigate. Recognize too, I am not like, I do understand sometimes we are just in stressful seasons of life and like beauty, not a huge priority. But even just for your health, taking care, like I said at the top of the video, taking care of that internal structure can make a huge impact. Now, like I just said though, it's not a guarantee. Like just because you do all of the workouts in the world, all of the sleep in the world, all of the water in the world doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna look fresh, rested, and hydrated. Sometimes, like I do that and I still like to put on a bit of mascara and I do my skincare routine. Like I use both those tools in tandem. Now, if I had to pick one, I of course would pick the health over those external things. But just remember that the health is the building block for everything else. So taking care of your muscles and your posture, taking care of your stomach by eating foods that help your body flow and digest properly, crank up the fiber, eating protein in order to build the muscle and feel satiated, reducing sugar to protect your teeth and to stop having crashes and mental brain fog, reducing portion sizes if you're feeling bloated and groggy and overstuffed a lot, portion control. Those kind of dietary decisions, as well as working out in tandem with rest, can make an enormous impact on your beauty. I think I look better now at 30 than I did when I got married, partially because as a stay-at-home mom and wife, I have so much more time to invest in reducing stress, working out, and sleeping and eating a well-nourished diet. When I was in college, I had an internship, I had a job, I was volunteering, I was like organizing women's conferences, I was in like all these classes, 16 credits. I had so much going on and my rest really struggled. And I also like planned a wedding during that time, right? It was a really hard time in my life. My hair was breaking off. It was rough. It was so rough. But nowadays, my focus is my kids, my home, my husband, and my friends, and my dog, right? So I go out into nature a lot. I recognize though this is a privilege. I think it's a huge privilege for me to stay home and be able to prioritize so much. I'm a person, I've been describing myself lately at coming to terms with the fact that I am literally the princess and the pea. Like anything like mild in my life will cause a physiological reaction. I have an autoimmune disorder, and so even minor stress can throw off my period cycle. It can cause me to bruise. It can cause me to have insomnia. It can cause me to have like bad lymphatic drainage. I can get rashes. Like I'm really, really sensitive to stress. And I've only realized that in the last like 5 to 6 years as a stay-at-home mom and wife, living in a less stressful situation, living just at home primarily, I've been able to take care of myself so much. So I do recognize I am coming from a privileged place here as a stay-at-home mom and wife, and it's not possible for everybody to just not show up to work anymore. But I do want to say, I've seen what low stress can do for your body and beauty. So if presented with the opportunity to choose a lower stress lifestyle, I would always encourage people to do it. Do remember though, like staying at home doesn't necessarily mean low stress. It means low stress for me because we're financially comfortable. I'm comfortable with the amount of kids I have. I don't feel overwhelmed at home. Staying at home could be a nightmare for somebody else, right? And it could crank up your stress. So you know you best, right? You know your life best. So design your life in a way that best serves you and your tolerance to stress, and you may see an increase of better health and vibrancy and beauty. A beauty mistake is absolutely clinging to stressful things and situations throughout your life without acknowledging the toll it takes on your body. Even relational stress, a toxic relationship for years and years and years. Have you guys seen those reels or TikToks where it's like, this girl showing how a relationship has drained the life out of her, you know, showing her now like fresh and beautiful versus showing her when she was in that relationship, like selfies of them looking like bloated and frazzled and drained and greasy and broken. Like those relationships can be a beauty mistake. Like they can literally suck the beauty out of you. I was in that situation, not with a romantic relationship, but other relationships in my life where I was just like breaking down and my beauty was breaking down and it was the stress. So don't again, don't just believe because you're drinking all the water in the world, exercising all the time, wearing the mascara, doing the hair treatments, that you'll automatically look and feel beautiful. Sometimes it's something exterior in your life, like a relationship or a situation or something that you're avoiding in your life, which does bring me to the idea of internal work. A bad attitude can wreck your beauty. It doesn't matter if you are the most beautiful person in the world. If you are like bad attitude, nasty, not friendly, being rude, being cruel, being entitled, not like looking out for people, generally just being unkind, that is a beauty mistake. And that will take away from basically what I was talking about earlier, which is the presence. Beauty is more than just the sum of how hydrated your skin looks, how fashionable your clothes are. It is your presence as a human being. That is why we can find people who are unconventionally beautiful, because it's their presence that translates the beauty from within. Do not underestimate how much a beautiful heart can impact your overall presence. And I would say too, the confidence to match. Low self-esteem, you can be a really kind person. But if that's paired with like really, really low self-esteem, that can also take away from your beauty. So I think these things go hand in hand. I think for me personally, my self-esteem, finding my identity in Christ, the Holy Spirit within me, I feel loved by God. I know He's my Savior. I know where I'm going when I die. That is where I derive my confidence. And I would also say like my good attitude, my gratitude, my joy. And I think that too has made a huge impact because again, flashback to 10 years ago, hard time in my life, feeling really broken, really, really lost. God was still my Savior back then, right? But I was really beaten down by life. And as I've been able to grow and transform, I have become more joyful, more gratitude filled. And it doesn't mean I don't go through hard things. I still do. But I think I'm stronger in my faith and I'm stronger in the Lord. And that has helped me just be more vibrant of a person because I have more within me to give to other people. I'm not suffering so much that I can't pour out into other people. I think there is nothing more beautiful than a beautiful heart. I loved in the Barbie movie when Barbie sits down on a bench and she looks over at this older woman, and the woman, like, you can just tell Barbie's thinking like, she's so beautiful. I'm like tearing up. And it's because beauty is so much more than skin deep, as people say. It's so much more than like the perfect set of eyebrows or the perfect like volume of your hair. It is your heart. It is the sum of your presence. It is how you bless other people. And so I would say, don't become so overly focused on the geometrics of your face or looks maxing or how your jaw is set or how fat or thin you are. Focus on the heart behind yourself. Focus on your confidence and explore beauty as a creativity thing or maybe as a tool, to open doors in your life or to feel better about yourself. But don't get so hung up on appearances that you forget what's within you. Because again, you could look like a model, but if you're nasty inside, it's like it takes away from all of your beauty. That's what's so incredible about the heart. It can amplify or add beauty to a human being, and it can also take away any beauty that you have. And that's why beauty ultimately too, I would say a beauty mistake would be like worshiping it and fearing it. So much so that, I'm going to be 40 in 10 years. I'm not going to look like this forever. And yeah, okay, maybe it's scary to think of fading away into the background of life, but instead of fearing aging, viewing it as a gift to get older, viewing it as a gift to live a nourished life where I can live and breathe and I have a body to live in and a life to live and people who love me as I age, respecting beauty and finding it like a creative thing, but not worshiping it so much that I chase youth and chase beauty my whole life. Just remaining balanced in the ultimate importance of it. I think it's, like I said at the top of the video, it's fun. I don't think it's that serious. And I don't think that we should worship it to such an extent that if we were to lose our beauty, our life is destroyed. That's why I think it's important to build up your value and your confidence on other things, and not believe the lie. I think a lot of people believe once I become thinner, all of my happiness is going to flow in. Once I figure out how to grow my hair to my hips, all of, like, I will be happier. Once I get a new wardrobe, I will be happier. If I only looked like her, I would be so happy. That's just not true. It is just not true. Because the fact is there's plenty of people who are not beautiful by the world's standards, and they are happy, they are joyful, they are filled with gratitude. And those are the people I think that we should be learning the most from. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. I would love to hear beauty mistakes you guys have made. Leave them in the comments below. Over plucking eyebrows, maybe a bad perm, maybe wearing super unflattering clothes. Leave your tips and tricks below as to how you solved those beauty mistakes as well. And give me your thoughts on what you think of beauty from the heart and within. I love to read your comments, and I know people use the comment section as a forum. So leave your wisdom below. But in general, thank you for watching. I have a lot of videos on beauty and tips and tricks and hair and all of that. Check out my playlist. Follow me on Instagram if you want more day-to-day life content. But in general, have a blessed and beauty-filled week, my beautiful sisters.